ngo yake. Wewe panga mikakati yako hiyo, unapanga serikali ya marafiki zako, lakini ujue sisi hatutawahi kutabua tena. Na Wakikuyu hatutawahi sema tena tuko na deni na Mkalenjin. Wewe ndio umeleta ukabila. Rigathi anakuanga na ukabila, na ukabila gani? Umempangia jama, umemngatua, mipango imeenda venye ulikuwa unataka. Sasa acha tuone kama hiyo kitu utajaribu kuleta huku. Hatukitaki Mount Kenya. Patia bibi yako, ama upatie watoto wako, ama upatie watu wenu. Hao wote tunaona hata kwa sekta zote umeenda ukiondoa mwenye yuko mahali Mkikuyu huko. Tuliona ulianza na Kuria. Au enda ukiwatoa wote, toa Wakikuyu wote, baki na Wajaruo na ubaki na hao Wakalenjin wenzako. Wacha serikali ikuwe ya Wakalenjin peke yake. Tena hii Kenya yetu tunaonekana Wakikuyu mnatuonanga wajiga sana. But let me tell you, hata wakati tulikuwa tunapigania nchi, mababu zetu Wakikuyu ndio walianza hii hata kupiga mbeberu kumfukuza Kenya. Kwa hivyo wewe huwezi kuwa mbeberu mwenzetu alafu utufinye. Tutakufinya. Na kama biashara maliza za Wakikuyu, bakisha za Wakalenjin. Na sisi Wakikuyu tutapanga venye tutakaa na wewe. Either wewe uondoke.
As the plot to impeach the embattled Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua from office continues to thicken, the second in command is facing the biggest battle of his political career. But he has so far remained unbound, vowing to challenge the ouster to the very end. Apart from the defense mechanism, both in the lower and the upper house, the Deputy President is putting a strong legal battle in court. And so in this exclusive video, I want us to take our lenses to the courtroom and look into Rigathi Gachagua's legal battle, which are some of the hits and misses in the court. But as a layman, I want to veer off from what really the others have been saying, and let's get the kind of answers that we would want the court to interpret, or rather the kind of answers that we want the court to explain to the public. Because Rigathi's impeachment is twofold. There is both criminal charges and political accusations. And that is why analysts and panelists appearing in mainstream interviews are saying the impeachment process is both legal and political. After the lower courts dismissed all the prayers by Gachagua to stop his impeachment in the National Assembly, Paul Mwite led Rigathi Gachagua's team to pitch tent in the High Court on Wednesday afternoon, pleading that Martha Koome should constitute a 3-bench judge by the Supreme Court so that they can hear the case, looking at the magnitude of the case.
My Lord, it is our submission, without going into the merits of the issues raised, that the petition here and the application for conservatory order raise very weighty and disputably very weighty constitutional issue of Standing Order number 64, 2 and 6, the Standing Orders of the National.
64 or 64?
It is Standing Order number 64 in brackets sub-rule and sub-rule 6. So it is the Standing Order number.
Remember, this is a prayer that Paul Mwite is putting before the court after all the other lower courts technically abstained from that impeachment case, and many of them that Rigathi Gachagua, other cases that were lodged that Rigathi Gachagua was raising some injunctions against the impeachment, he could not be granted prayers, except the High Court judge in Kerugoya, who ordered that the public participation should be done at the constituency level after it was done only on one day. And when is asked about it, there is something that Mwengi Mutuse, the mover of the motion against the deputy president, is saying that the deputy president legal team submitted a huge volume of documents very late in attempt to rattle the members of parliament. And I'm just like, what Mwengi Mutuse is just a scapegoat, because those bunch of hypocrites in parliament did not want to know what kind of evidence Rigathi Gachagua have. I am so sure that those MPs, even by the time Rigathi Gachagua was putting up his defense in the House, most of them were just chatting, taking photos and walking out, waiting for the moment to vote yes or no. In fact, that House, I still say and I still repeat, behaved in a lower manner. They lowered the dignity of that House. We miss the days when Parliament was really Parliament. But nowadays, Parliament is indeed true a stamp of the executive. And just around the courtroom, in another amber of hope for the deputy president, the Law Society of Kenya has requested to be enjoined in the case that is opposing the removal of the deputy president by impeachment. So when I was just discussing this, I asked on whose side. LSK is joining Rigathi Gachagua's side to oppose the impeachment process at the two houses. Now, this is a game changer, because apart from LSK, other civil society organizations are also reported to be taking petitions in the court against the DP Gachagua removal, and the court will give a determination on the way forward. But one of the things that will happen is that the case will be enjoined. They will not be heard in the lower courts separately. They will be conjoined, and then all of them, they will be consolidated. That is the one. They'll be consolidated and form part of the deliberation in the Supreme Court. So far, the court have said that they will give a statement, rather they will give a verdict on Friday on the way forward, whether they will ask CJ Komi to empanel, to constitute a panel to hear the case. LSK is a friend of the court and should be a neutral arbiter between the court and the government. Now, many analysts are saying that the entry of LSK in that case is a game changer, because it's increasing the stakes on the wheels of justice. The stakes on that case. Number two, many other stakeholders can see the mob justice that happened in Parliament. For them to issue, to emerge, they had an option of going there and saying they support the impeachment. Because when you go to court, you can't go as a neutral. There's nothing like a friend of the court. You go on which side? You must take side. So, because they also saw the mob justice that most of us have been saying, that MPs just engaged in some mob justice against the DP, they decided to take that side. And then it is actually proving that. The other third issue, where it's a game changer in that case, is government may suffer court contempts. Or not court contempts. Government have been, in the past, LSK took many cases on disappearances and abductions. Many cases, but government have been a candidate of contempt of court. So judicial activism is actually knocking the door. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't have the range to speculate on court's determination on this impeachment. But as a Kenyan, as a layman, and an analyst who have been following the contentious issues, areas around Rigathi impeachment, I have narrowed down to 5 specific areas where, as a country, I would want us to be keen to find out what is the court going to say on these specific areas. Because the twofold, remember there is the criminal case against the deputy president. That is why the 22 companies have been listed. That is a purely criminal case, that a criminal allegation that will be decided on the evidence. The government who are alleging have the proof, they have the burden of proof. The deputy president, who is the accused, have the burden of defense. So on that one, I don't want to comment on the criminal aspect. But now remember, those charges are 11. Now, one of the charges is, amongst the charges are twofold. Out of the 11, they're divided into two. There is that criminal, which is the one that is potent. If government can prove to the country that Rigathi Gachagua stole money using those companies, then Rigathi Gachagua will be home and no one will complain. Yes. But there is the other side of this criminal, of these other charges. So these are the areas that I would really see court's determination. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell and like our videos. And thank you very much for really thank you very much for supporting this podcast. I want to see what the court will say on the public participation in the impeachment process. The public participation in impeachment process was a bit dramatic, and it had its own cons and pros. Remember, Parliament deliberately is lukewarm on, of course, formulating a legislative framework on public participation, and it is intentionally lukewarm. They don't want to do it. Why? Because they don't want the public input on what the government is doing. And it's not even on impeachment. Remember, even on projects that are supposed to be done in areas, public participation is supposed to be done when there is a dam to be constructed there. Annual development plan to be by counties, county integrated development plan, CIDP. For CIDP, formulation of CIDP, public participation is needed, both at the county and even at the national level. So, Parliament has deliberately, and I want to repeat this, deliberately been lukewarm about it. Public participation, interpretation of public participation depends on the court, what the court says. And that is why the areas I want to pay attention to. MPs, after the High Court in Kirinyaga ordered that Parliament should conduct public participation, we saw overwhelmingly a number of Kenyans from different parts of the country saying, we don't support Rigathi Gachagua impeachment. I want to play for you a couple of, just some few videos around this. Kenyans said we don't support Rigathi impeachment. In some areas of Mount Kenya, the national government, the team from the National Assembly even tallied how many forms, and we saw that. We saw others tallying how many forms people said yes, how many forms people said no. And they could announce, those who support X amount, maybe 300X, they are now announced figures. On some areas, we did not see it being quantified. There was no breakdown of how it was done. And then I wonder, what really kept me wondering here is, when a very respected ranking member of Parliament, Millie Odhiambo, a very big disappointment to the August House, said that 65% of the population supported Rigathi Gachagua impeachment. Now, are MPs also supposed to vote based on that? What is the input of public participation in such an impeachment process?
Of the deputy president, as by the allegations that we've been shown there. So one, on the onset, the people who are actually the members of parliament who are initiating this impeachment at large, they didn't turn up today for this public participation exercise. So that is the first indication that these allegations are actually baseless, and at the moment it is not a priority for the Kenya Kwanza administration to impeach the deputy president. Amen. We have so many unfulfilled promises, yes, by this administration, including infrastructure, the issues of the education funding model that is facing problems, the issue of social health insurance, the issue of JKIA Adani deal, and we are thinking as residents of Nandi that all these are actually meant to divert attention so that Raia don't ask very hard questions on this administration, especially on unfulfilled promises. So in Nandi, we have so many national government projects which are stalled. These are the things that the MP should be advocating when they are in parliament. But as you can see, they are not doing that.
Mimi nataka niongee hivi, and I'm directing it to our beloved brother, son, father of the nation, William Samoei Arap Ruto. We are directing this to you. Come to rescue. This situation of impeaching the deputy president is not a priority. Ni kitu yenye sisi Wanandi tumekataa, watu Wanandi wamekataa, kwa sababu hata yale maneno yote mulipromise na deputy president, there is not even one that has been fulfilled. Yes. Saa hii mulielewana mkiwa wawili, mkatafuta watu wachache, mkaingia ndani, kutoka nje umetoa deputy. Huyo deputy mkaendelea na yeye kidogo, unarudi kwetu Raia, unatuambia tukusaidie tumtoe. Hatuwezi, na yeye hata ngatuka. Rigathi tunajua mpaka kwa moyo yake na roho.
There is no need for us to come here tukusanyike ati we are impeaching someone. This is not what it is supposed to be happening. Siku ya leo tungekuwa tunakuja hapa kusherekea kitu imechengwa. Si maneno ya kuja kuimpeach mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua. Tunaomba hata wachumbe ambao leo wako kuwa hapa wakaribie sisi nyumbani ili tupe mashida zetu. Sasa kama leo tumeitwa hapa bila sababu yoyote, tunaomba rais muongee na mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua. Alafu ya kwamba this is not tribalism. Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua pia anyenyekee chini, naomba msamaha rais Ruto kwa sababu ni rafiki yake, walielewana wakati wa campaign, na kazi ya kawaida itaendelea na amani itapatikana katika Kenya kama kawaida. Asante sana.
Gachagua, I support Gachagua to stay. I do not support the vote to impeach Gachagua. Because we elected Gachagua and President Ruto. We elected both of them. And if in case today we want to vote out Gachagua, and then we should also vote out our president. Both of them should go out. So I support that Gachagua should stay. Kama vile ameomba msamaha rais, ni kwamba Gachagua asamehewe kama kuna makosa alifanya na aendelee na kazi yake.
It is so saddening that hapa Nandi County vitu kama public participation ya impeachment wanatumotivate kuliko development matters. Na tunataka tuseme ya kwamba viongozi wetu wametufail kutokea governor, kutokea senator, mpaka MPs wote wametuangusha. Kwa sababu tukiangalia impeachment motion ambaye inaendelea sasa hivi ni kudivert attention ya wananchi wasifuatilie mambo ya development. Na sisi tunataka tuambie President William Ruto that we voted you together with Rigathi Gachagua. We accepted you without public participation, and we cannot accept to stand here and support your political motivation that is going around the country. And there is a saying that says, it is only a fool who does not change. But I want to add it and say, don't change things trying to prove yourself that you are not a fool.
Chenye mimi nataka niseme kwa niaba ya watu wangu, wamesema enda ulise Gachagua amekosa nini. Alafu ya pili nikimalizia, munataka tuharibu uhusiano ambaye tumeona wa Kikuyu na Wakale. Na tusiseme ati Raila ameharibu. Raila ako na kiti yake ya AU. Ako kando. Sasa uenda watu wa Ruto wanataka kukosoa Ruto kwa njia yake ambaye angefanya kutusaidia. Sasa hao watu wake wa Ruto wa chini wanataka kutukosoa, alafu tuhusishwe kwa makosa ambayo hatujui.
So what we need the court to identify now, if you go to the public and the public are saying we don't support, because the truth is majority rejected. That is the truth. Majority rejected that impeachment. So when you go to the public and they reject, can you come to parliament and contradict what they said? And if you contradict, do you contravene any law? I'm so keen on that. That's the one point I would want to find a definition to. Number two, so IBC is inactive. IBC is not compromised, but it's inadequate in terms of it's not fully constituted after the commission has left. There was a question of who is supposed to conduct public participation and to what extent. If it is about the deputy president, election of the president was not just happening at the constituency level. It happened to the polling station. So if it is public participation in the magnitude of a deputy president, who should be in charge? Is it IEBC or is it the parliament? And do parliament have the tools of conducting public participation and the protocol? Because I heard Rigathi Gachagua saying that when the public participation was done, it was done after the motion was tabled in parliament. So should it be done before the motion is taken to parliament or after? And Rigathi is saying when public participation was done, Kenyans were just given an opportunity to choose whose side without the input of the deputy president. We really want to hear that part. Now, did you see chaotic scenes in some areas where public participation turned chaotic, fights, and people, the members of the public said something, kufa makanga, kufa dereva, kufa makanga. In the constitution, we don't have that option. There's no way you can impeach the president and the deputy president at the same time. So, should there be civic education before public participation? Because some people didn't even understand, some members of the public don't even understand the essence of that public participation. They don't, and that lacuna, that lack of knowledge is well scripted by the political elites. Now, this Rigathi impeachment should be a departure moment for the courts to explain to the country and at least compel parliament to produce, to formulate a legal framework that will also produce tools of public participation and evaluation. The space of public participation in presidential impeachment, in impeachments. I've seen this has been happening even in the impeachment of governors. So I really want to get that determination. The second one is, what is this concept of insubordination by contradicting the president? Okay, insubordination by contradicting the president understood as breach of oath of office. The court needs to explain to us this. Rigathi Gachagua and the deputy president went to campaign, and as enshrined in the constitution, they said never again shall we have people displaced inhumanly, in humane manner, without being compensated. And never again, as enshrined in the constitution, should we have abductions and disappearances. That was in the constitution, and even if Ruto and Rigathi promised it, it is not a promise. It is already something in the Bill of Rights. It's a right that's already in the Bill of Rights. So it was just a political goodwill from the political class. Now when they come to office, the president is breaching those provisions. The president is displacing people inhumanly, and as is what, there are some disappearances and kidnappings. So, when the deputy president comes out and say, this is not right, he is contradicting the president, but he is within the Bill of Rights. So the courts need to draw a line and say, which is it? Where in law does it say that the deputy president must worship, respect, not worship, follow, and do what the president say, even if it is wrong? By the way, because that is one of the accusation equal. And let's use Ilya cabinet, Ilya cabinet, and again they try to explain this. So let's get that determination, because ile disrespect wanasema ni kwa sababu Rigathi contravened a cabinet position. that cabinet composition is against Bill of Rights, which even without Rigathi doing it, opposing it, someone should even go to court. Some people even went to court and sued government. So, I know it is a corporate culture that in office, the boss and his assistants should get along. But in any case, we have many companies in Kenya. Are all the bosses and the assistants getting along? The answer is no. Is misunderstanding between a president and his deputy president a ground of impeachment, or it just needs reconciliation and other mechanisms to be put into place? I want to hear court's voice on that. The third issue, does the Constitution protect NIS from criticism? Yes. I saw MPs emotionally telling us that Rigathi Gachagua attacked or rather criticized NIS. So, is it the court should tell the country, is the state organs, are they immune from criticism? Because look at what the President William Ruto said when he was deputy against Kinoti.
I have had an argument that we should not call out those in the security sector. I would like you to play next video.
We have the most incompetent Inspector General of Police, I think, in the world. The most incompetent in the whole world. His incompetence may not necessarily play out when things are working, but when things get to a head and you need some decisions to be made, I can tell you for sure, the gentleman we have as an IG cannot make any decision.
Nataka tumwambie ule mtu wa sinema mingi anaitwa nani ule mtu? Ule sijui anaitwa DCI, ule anaitwa nini? Ule mtu anaitwa Kinoti. Awache ujinga. Huyo bwana Kiboti awache ujinga. Sio kama tunaelewana. Huyo Kinoti hakuna kitu amefanya kwa hii Kenya ya kisiasa. Yeye ni mtu ya sinema. Anaendesha makesi kwa magazeti. Anatuandikia barua, sijui barua ya kilomita ngapi. Mr. Kinoti, please save your time. Stop writing to us long letters. Leave matters of elections to IEBC. You have no business in IEBC. You have failed as DCI. We don't want you to fail our elections. Tunaelewana? Huyo bwana Kinoti awache hiyo ujinga yake anaendesha pale, kwa sababu anatukasirisha. Huyo bwana Kinoti tunataka tumwambie awachane na watu wa IEBC wafanye hii uchaguzi. Alipatiwa kazi ya kufanya criminal investigation. He has never done anything. Ile kesi yote anafanya kesi kwa magazeti. Akiambiwa apeleke evidence kule kotini ameshindwa. So bwana Kinoti, wacha sinema. You have failed and wait for August so that you can.
Honorable members, that was President William Ruto as Deputy President criticizing IG Mutiabai, DCI Kinoti. Rigathi Gachagua has learned his job from his boss, that public officers must be caught to order when they fell short of expectation. And I never saw anybody bring William Ruto here for impeachment for criticizing the IG or the DCI. This is a very unfair allegation. Mr. Speaker, it is also reported by media that the IMF has already warned about impending unrest during the people's dissatisfaction with the 2023 and 24 finance bill. Many of you will recall, Mr. Speaker, after the September 11th terrorist attack in the US, the US intelligence agencies were massively criticized, and an inquiry was even opened to investigate why their intelligence agency was not able to detect and thwart the attack. All we are saying is that our National Intelligence Service is accountable to the people of Kenya for its performance.
And Mutiambai, President criticized them. And then I saw some people saying that when Rigathi played the clip of Ruto, he lost it. You know, dude, let's be honest here. What Rigathi is saying about NIS is the same thing with what Ruto said against Mutiampai. So the court should tell the country so that we clear the air. Is it a constitutional breach if someone from the executive criticizes NIS? Third, not third, that was the third. The fourth one is, what are the policy limits of national government cooperating or commenting on a county project? Because Rigathi asked Sakaja to have dialogue with the Wakulima market traders so that he can listen to their concern before they are moved to the Kangundo Road market. And just because of that, Sakaja has sworn affidavit saying that the deputy president was interfering with the operations of Nairobi County. But I saw record of president issuing some directives to Sakaja. We have that video here.
We will be building 20 markets in Nairobi to support what Peter is doing, so that the people who are selling your products, whether they are bananas or they are vegetables or they are onions or they are tomatoes, do so in hygienic conditions so that we can continue the standards that you have set here into the marketplace. And we will do so with all the other counties as we work together towards re-engineering our country. Just to assure my young brother Sakaja of Nairobi that please keep the noise away from our children. You have our support. And ensure that the standards of the city of Nairobi are the standards of the capital city of Kenya. If you look at our rivers in Nairobi, it is a sad story. And I want to assure the residents of Nairobi, as I do the rest of the country, that we will make Nairobi River what it should be. A place that people can enjoy, a place where enterprise can grow, and we will get rid of the sewage, and we will get rid of all the other affluence and effluents that are going into our city rivers. And thank you very much, Governor Sakaja, for working with my deputy to ensure that we agree with all the stakeholders to set up the Nairobi Rivers Commission so that we can sort out our rivers in the city.
So, and yes, they are the ones building markets. If market, construction of markets is a responsibility of county, national government, Ruto is giving millions and millions to MPs to build markets. And the county is just to run the operation and go there and collect tax, their revenues. Can't a national leader, and given from national government, issue some directive to a county boss? Lastly, I saw MPs in parliament introducing assertions and allegations outside the impeachment profile. The profile of the impeachment was on 11 grounds. I saw MPs shouting, especially the women MPs shouting how Rigathi called them Malaya. And some also, another gullible member of parliament from Nyanza said that Rigathi went and, I don't know, picked Ruto from a meeting in Leto Gola's residence. And Wanjala is talking about how DP was I don't know, chased at the day in 1997. Is it really something that was in order for Parliament to have an overreach in term when they were actually debating, even though the Parliament have that privilege that whatever they say, the chambers cannot be taken to court? But don't you think in such a matter like impeachment, a high profile, they disabused the Parliament's privilege so that they can have an overreach on DP's impeachment. It's a matter of wait and see. I wish the court can pronounce itself on these grounds. Thank you.
Hi guys, so imebidi nimeshafika Murang'a. So that is Murang'a University College. Tuko na Juliet hapa. So Juliet is going to update you. We arrived here in the morning, so she had done the bit of it that is needed on the administration. Na inabidi uende class hii. Yes. So she must go to class now as we speak. So that is why I just want us to do this video haraka. Juliet, just acknowledge and ongea na hawa and you appreciate them.
Okay, nasema asante kwa uwezo wenu wa kunifanyia hivi. Nimeshalipa rent na school fees kidogo na mahitaji mengine. Nataka kuwashukuru.
Yes. So units wamesema wataregister government ikileta scholarships. So we've done the units. The units, that's one thing I've understood, kwamba units zinakuwa registered, government ikishaleta scholarship. And Juliet, I hope utakuwa mzuri. Yes, so yeah, so guys, I'm here to share Maliza. I now have to go back. I have to go back to Nairobi kwa sababu hii impeachment venye inaendelea, naona emotions ziko high within this region, so I have to travel back. And thank you very much for supporting Juliet. Juliet, how far? Ile nyumba iko mbali sana na hapa. How will you be coming? Sometimes. Unaweza kutembea? Yeah, so thank you guys. Juliet is here. Ukipitia sometimes unaweza, nitakupatia number if you want to say hi to Juliet. Utakuwa unakuja, naweza kupatia number, unakuja unamsalimia, and we will be so grateful and thank you very much. We've managed and may really God bless us. Asante.